Hey everybody, Star 6 Wars 1 here, and welcome back to Anime Movie Month 3. Well, it's towards the end of the month, guys, which means towards the end of Anime Movie Month 3. Now, we are going to I'm going to be reviewing the Berserk movie trilogy, which is the Golden Age arc films of Berserk. Now, I'll be doing each of them individually. So for the first one, here it is. Berserk's first movie, The Egg of the King. Now, as you all probably know, that yes, this is a new adaptation for the manga and a remake for the anime. Now, you've seen these kind of movies before, and sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. Does this one work, or does it utterly fail? Well, let's find out. First up, the story. Without going into spoilers, the story is pretty good for the most part, but I do have some problems. The first problem is an extremely obvious one, and it's an unfortunate one. The first problem is the cutting of certain sections of this movie / the original source material. The entire Black Swordsman saga, which was the first part of the manga, by the way, is completely cut out. It does not exist in this anime, which is actually a shame because it was at least given a little recognition in the original anime, and it's sorely missed, sadly. But I won't deny that it's not entirely needed because this is only focusing on the Golden Age arc, but it's still sorely missed. Even then, though, there's a lot of conversations / minor little events that were either cut out or trimmed for time. This is a major fault of most movie adaptations for source materials like Face Unlimited Blade Works, Studio Dean version, or Persona 3. A lot has to be cut out. The good news is it doesn't affect the story badly. You can still understand what's going on and can even pick up on a few things, but it is a noticeable flaw and it is something to bring up. Also, the pacing is a bit of an issue, but not terrible compared to the other previously mentioned films. So at the very least, it's not bad, which is actually a thankful thing, but it does have notable flaws. So sadly, the story is only okay at best. Next up are the characters, and thankfully the characters, in my opinion at least, have not changed from their adaptations, which is a really good thing. They still feel like the characters we know and love. Guts feels still like Guts. Casca still feels like Casca. Judo feels like Judo. Griffith feels like Griffith. All those other characters still feel the same way, which is a major plus and was one of the highlights of the original anime, and is still kept true here. I am very thankful for this because they could have easily screwed this up, but in my opinion, they did not. The characters are great as always. Thank you, movie, for at least that much. And now, how about that animation? Let me explain. The good news with the animation is the backgrounds actually, in my opinion, look great, if not better than the previous anime. And the character designs look pretty good when they're not moving. Here's the major problem with the animation: the use of CGI. It looks awful. Some of the absolute worst usage of CGI I've ever seen. Not an exaggeration, it's distractingly bad. The characters feel like they're awkward looking movements. And if I'm going to be blunt, it looks like, at times, PS1 standard graphics. I'm not joking. The CGI in this looks terrible, and is a noticeable flaw because of how good the background looks. This is a great problem and something that I really, really wish they could have fixed. Overall, just, the music is good. But if I'm not going to lie, I really miss the series' OST. I know I'm comparing it a lot to the original anime, and I'm sorry about that, but the original anime had a great OST. This one is good, don't get me wrong, but it's not the original anime's OST, which was freaking fantastic. This one is just good, and it's kind of a disappointment, to be honest. Now, should you go with this sub or dub? The interesting thing with the sub is they actually do change the voices for Guts, Casca, and Griffith. That's at least what I know of the sub. Yes, I watched this dubbed. The dub is odd because it actually keeps around quite a few of the original voice actors for a good chunk of the roles, including Guts, Griffith, and Casca. They're not the only ones that remain from the original anime either, but they're definitely the most notable. And once again, Mark Daraisen, who does Guts, is freaking fantastic in the role and is easily the best of the dub. Casca's voice actress being a notable example as well. I want to point this out to everyone. This is not a bad movie by any stretch of the imagination. This could have flopped a lot harder than it actually did. My major complaints with it come into the animation department and what they cut out of the story. These are major faults, yes, but it does not make it a bad movie. I think the characters do save the film from being bad. That said, at the moment, do I recommend it? If you want an alternative to the manga and the other anime series, or do not have the time to watch the original series or read the manga, I do recommend this movie. If you are wanting to read the manga or even watch the series, I'm not sure I'd recommend it because a lot is cut out and some things that are kind of important in building up stuff and little things like that. So I'd say if you're not planning to read the manga, watch the anime, or don't have the time to, watch the movie. If you, however, do not have any of those restrictions, I recommend maybe waiting on this or watching if you're curious. Either way, it's not a bad movie. It's actually a decent movie, but I will say it's got some major faults that do hamper it from being a great movie. I give Berserk Movie 1 a 6.5 out of 10. I would like to give it a bit of a higher score, but at the same time, its story and animation problems are huge and greatly ones that I really can't ignore. So, yeah, that's the score I'm giving it. Anyways, that's all from me. This has been Star 6 Wars 1, and join me in the next anime movie month for Berserk Movie 2. See you guys then.